Welcome to the show, everyone. Today we are going to transform the exterior and the paint of my Porsche Boxster 986. We're going to take it from dirty car through to ceramic coating, and I'm going to show you all the steps, and all the equipment is in the description below. So if you like what I'm doing, you can go out and buy it and follow my steps. So enjoy the transformation. But first, let's have a look at the state of the paintwork that we've got. At the beginning of the episode now, the first thing you notice, of course, is these headlights. We're going to polish those up. They're very grey and mucky and murky. There are also things that we may not be able to take care of. This front bumper cover has dings in it here, which may be beyond me to be able to fix. But otherwise, there is very little on the front that I don't think, can't be repaired or polished out. We've got very few little dings on here. The big one is on this door, and if I come down here, you'll see there's a scrape which I can get my fingernail into. So it starts here and goes all the way back here. So I think we're going to have some fun with that with our polisher. But otherwise, pretty good condition. We've got some dings here and there, which are, I've got a little paintless dent removal kit, which I'm hoping will get it out. Not in too bad shape. I think this little car will come back very nicely. And I must say, I'm looking forward to it a lot. And here is the first product. This is called Chemical Guy's Clean Slate. It is a shampoo, but it goes one stage further than a standard shampoo. The ordinary or regular car shampoo won't take off old wax, old ceramic surface, anything you've got, any kind of sealant you've got on there, a normal shampoo won't take off. Now I'm using this because it's stronger and it will take all of that off, and it'll get the paint back down to the basics, which is where I want it to go. So the first step actually is using this to get rid of all that off. And what I'm going to do is spray it down. I don't like to just hit a car's paint surface with just water to start off with, because then stones and bits start flying all over the place. So we're already going to start being gentle by just covering this lovely car in this lovely clean slate. And you can buy all these products, as I said, in the description below. Well, the wheel cleaner we'll be using is this Confidant Ultimate Wheel Cleaner. It's pretty straightforward stuff. I would imagine it's very similar to anything you could buy, but this always seems to work quite well. So we'll go and use that. Details down below if you want to buy it. But that's what it's called. Oh, a little breather. But the next phase is this stuff, Iron X by a company called CarPro. Now, we are going through a 3-stage decontamination process. Stage 1 has been our shampoo, and as I explained to you, it is the clean slate shampoo which strips it all bare of any sealants that may have been applied to it before. Stage 2 is a chemical decontamination process, which is what this is. Now, as you're driving along in your car, you get brake dust over it, other kind of ferrous materials, irony materials that bond to the paint, which won't come off with a shampoo. So we're going to use the second phase of our decontamination process is a chemical decontamination process. The third phase is our clay bar, which is a mechanical decontamination process. Literally, the clay goes over dirt and it sticks to it and just strips it off. So watch this Iron X work and you'll see it. You may not see it quite so well on the green paint as opposed to if we had a white car, you'd see it a lot more clearly, but I suspect you will see it on the wheels, which are silver. So take a look at this. And then for clay, I've been using the Chemical Guys clay and lube. Now you can use just a quick detailer instead of proper clay lube, and that works just as well. Anything that lubricates, really. Now when you look at it from 10 foot, you think this is much better. It's all done. It's only when you get closer that you start to see there are a few swirls in the paint, and this is what it looks like now that we've got it completely decontaminated. We have taken off all the sealant from using chemical means and mechanical means, and as you can see, it's not bad, but it's a bit flat. It's not quite as shiny as it could be. We're not seeing our faces in that just yet. But also, it's not as bad as I thought it would be either. If we look right on the side of here, there are no swirls at all on there. There's a few in there. But I think, even though it's a bit flat, I think we can polish this up and it'll look wonderful. You see what I mean by being just a bit flat on here, on the trunk lid. Just a bit flat on the left-hand side of your picture there. We'll get that polished up and I think that'll look great, but it's really coming together now. Starting to see a big difference. Let's have a look at it under the lights and see if that makes it look any different. All right, so we are about 3.5 hours in at the moment, and having gone over the paintwork with a torch and just taking my time, I think we've got some really good paintwork here. There's only a few places where we're going to need to do some work before we start compounding and polishing. There is a very small ding on the driver's side. I've showed it to you before. And I'm going to have a go at some paintless dent removal. It's the only place on the car that has a ding, would you believe? And I bought a kit, and this is what it looks like. And it comes with all sorts of goodies. One is a glue gun, which I'll explain to you. One is this thing for actually pulling the dents out. As you can see, it will clip onto what I'm going to show you and pull it out. And we've got a hammer in case I overdo it and pull it out even more. I need to sort of knock down the high ridges on the dent. And there are other methods also. You can pull it out by turning this little thing here. So we're going to do that first because that's the bit that's annoying me the most. Then we'll do the scratch. And then I think we're going to use our front bumper cover as our test area for the compounding and the polishing, because there are a few other very light hairline scratches on the car, which are more than just swirls. And I'm thinking that compounding will get those out, but I think the place that I'm going to try that is on this front bumper cover, which is sitting behind you here, because I'm in two minds as to whether I'm going to get a new one of those anyway, or get it resprayed. And so it doesn't matter if I fluff it up a bit. So that's the plan anyway, guys, for the next phase. Stick with me and we'll see how we get on. All right, let's take a closer look. Aside from the device here, which we're going to use for pulling the dent, what you connect that to is these little things here. And that you choose the one that is corresponding to the size of your ding. And then literally you will put glue on this side, put that onto the ding, and then use the device over there for pulling it out. And the glue here, there's two kinds of glue. One is a bit stronger than the other, and the gun that I'm about to use will heat that up and stick to it. So let us see how this works. Now this is super hard to photograph. It's only a very slight dent, but the first job is to see if we can find the right size of little button. It doesn't need to be very big because it's a very small dent. In fact, I think that's probably the one. And I could choose, if I wanted to, a round one, if it was a round ding. And they recommend that going from big to large, so you pick the one that just about fits the size of the ding, and then as you start to pull it out, reduce the size of these little things, so you're only pulling out the ding that is left rather than the one you started with. Here we go. First job then is to load up our gun with glue, and in the back of it there's a hole, and you simply push the glue into the hole as far as it will go, and you can already see puffs of smoke coming out at the end of there because it is super hot as I push this glue through all the way as far as I can get it. There we are. There we are. And now what should happen is that I should be able to use my glue here to just squeeze the trigger, out comes the glue, just load it up a bit. Now we're going to take that glue and straight away put it on our ding without squeezing too hard. And then be careful where you put your gun, obviously, because it's scorching hot. And we'll just leave that for 30 seconds or so, just to harden, and then we'll bring our clamping tool in and start to pull. Now that's hardened up nicely, so this clamping tool goes around the outside and slips over that. Can you see that? I think you can. And all we're going to do is just... Oh, that flexed a bit too soon for my liking. And get the right amount of glue on that, so we'll try that again. All right, let's try again. I don't think I had the glue on quite uniformly, or maybe not enough glue the first time, because it popped off rather easily. But let's just try this again. Hopefully I've got it a bit more uniformly this time. Let's give it another shot. I'm not looking to pull it off, I'm looking just to pull just a little bit of flexing, and I can see the metal move. Oh, it came off again. Is that helping any? I think it might be, actually. I think it might be. It might be coming out a bit. All right, here we go again. Be very careful with the paintwork. I think we've got a nice little car here. Okay, just a bit of flexing. Oh, it came off really easily that time. I don't know if this is working or not, but I think it's helping a little bit. Let's give it one last shot with the slightly bigger one and see if we can get that to really work. Let's apply a big gob of glue on it. Okay, last try. I'm going to take this one really gently, just to see the metal flexing, but see if I can keep the glue on. Yeah, this is better. Oh, and then it came off. Yeah. I'm really not sure about this, if I'm honest. Not sure if this is working or not. I can still feel a ding, albeit that it might be slightly less noticeable than the one we had before. Maybe I don't feel a ding, actually. I don't know. Well, I think we're going to call that an experience. But actually, after I compounded and polished, it had all but disappeared, so we can claim this one as a success. Now, first step before we do anything, even though it's been decontaminated, what I do want to do is hit it with a bit of surface prep, because there may still be dust on it or some level of greasiness that we didn't get off with the decontamination process. So I'm just going to hit it with that, and then we'll start on this side first. I'll do the other side when we get to it. I'm just going to do the top of this bumper cover. Okay, as an experiment, we're going to do the right hand side of the bumper cover using V34, which is the milder compound, and on the left hand side we'll try with the extreme compound. I'm not sure which one is best, so we may as well use this bumper cover, which is scuffed up anyway, as a test area. I think I put far too much compound on. That's my first observation. I think I've maybe got the right amount of polish or the right amount of compound on my pad this time. I think it's tough to make conclusions after, you know, one go at it. Maybe I need another go at it. This is definitely better. This is definitely clearing up things better than this. I can see in the light there's still a few more hairline scratches in there than there are in this. This is noticeably better when you get up close to it. Okay, this is after 4 passes with the extreme compound and the orange pad. Starting to look really nice now. We're not there yet though. There are still some scratches in there, as you can see, but I have to say we're making progress, which feels good. As long as I'm going in the right direction, then I'm okay. And I know I'm not doing any damage either. Well, that's 6 times, and I'm pretty happy with that. If you compare it with the hood or the bonnet just above it, which has also been just wiped down now and free of all the dust that's gone out, you can see a real difference there. The top bit is full of swirls and the bottom bit just isn't anymore. And I'm really pleased with that. Keep going. I think what we will do is actually hit the hood now. Hit the bonnet, hit the hood. I feel happy enough with that to leave that for a while, and we'll come back and polish that with the rest of the car. Now again, we're going to spray this down with surface prep because there is dust and polish and compound all over the place. So we'll just get this in a nice clean state. And then I think what we're going to do is 1 foot by 2 foot areas and just see how we go. Just take it really slowly. Right, I do want to take you in close now that I've finished compounding the hood, and I'm really pleased with the results. If I start over here where you can see real swirls in the paint, and then we come over here where there just aren't any anymore. And it's just the most satisfying thing to see this green paint begin to come alive. You can see it gleaming. This is without polishing, remember. This is just compounding. And I've done 3 attempts of 7 or 8 passes across 3 sections. So I've split it into 3. And I've done, you know, up and down, left and right 6 times each time. So 18 passes per section, if you like. And that has just brought it back. It just looks great and I'm really pleased with it. And so I am now going to go on and polish it, use my cutting polish, I think, just so that we've got the contrast, something that will be finished on the left-hand side and still ready to go untouched on the right-hand side. Let's see what that looks like. All right, now I've hit it with 2 attempts at cutting polish and it's looking fabulous. Dreamy green paint. Nary a swirl to find anymore. Just loving it. So satisfying, but backbreaking and laborious. It takes time. You can't rush this. So now I'm going to hit it with some finishing polish and an even softer pad, and then we'll take off our middle strip and compare the 2 surfaces. Okay chaps, you join us from the side of the car that I have not done. And I want you to look at that reflection of that light and you'll see the bits where it just isn't done, not touched at all, swirls, etc. Now if I quickly come over to the other side, watch the same light as we go, oh let's use that one over here, oh look at that, how nice is that? I get really close in, you can see the difference as I then go back over to the swirls and back again into the lovely area, rainforest green, which is now the correct amount of shiny and depth. All right, so looking good on one side of the hood, and that's taken a long time to get it that good, I'm telling you. It's a long and laborious process, but it pays off. It's very satisfying. Things that I've learned how to handle the machine a bit more effectively, how to grip it, how to keep it flat on the paint. I have learned that it takes more than 1 pass to do. You could take 7 or 8 passes of extreme compound 2 or 3 times before you eliminate some of the swirls that I've seen on here. But persistence pays the day because it is immensely satisfying when you start to see it come together. Okay, headlights then. These are a mess and they're going to ruin the look of the car. Now I know I can do this because I've done the other one over there already, and I'm going to show you that right now. Not bad, right? So I know what I'm doing on this one, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now the things that you're going to need for this particular exercise are sandpaper, 2,500 and 3,000. You're going to need a squirty water bottle. You're going to need masking tape. You're going to need a rotary polisher and 2 kinds of polish. In fact, 1 kind of extreme compound and 1 cutting polish. I'm using Chemical Guys here again because it works. I'm not sponsored by Chemical Guys, but it works. Anyway, let me show you how to do it. Now the first thing we're going to do to make sure that we don't scratch this lovely paint with any sanding or anything that we're doing is to mask up. So let's do that. So we're going to start with the rougher grade of sandpaper, which is our 2500 grit sandpaper. It's really fine. We're not going to do much damage with that. On the back, I've just got a sponge backing plate or sanding block because I want it to go with the contours of this fried egg here. And then it is just a question of spraying it all down with water, spraying our sanding block down with water, and then having at it. Now I should say that I spent on the other one a long time with this and hardly any time with the 3000. The 3000 is really used to just smooth out the grooves that we're making with this so that it works better with the rotary. But you're going to want to get into it and get rid of all these foggy patches. This is just oxidized. So what you're doing is taking off this layer of oxidation and getting down to the fresh plastic below, all the way across. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. It's going to look quick, but actually I might be here for an hour doing this. This took a lot longer than I thought it would, and certainly a lot longer than most videos let you think that it takes. So we're going to spend a long time with this 2500 and invest that time, because the more you get rid of some of this horrible yellow here around the outside, and you must make sure you do all around the outside, otherwise it will really stand out, but also all the scaliness that's on here will come off. So it is just a question of elbow grease, as we used to say in the war. So let's go for it. And we're going to do this in one direction. We're not going to go up and down. And you can start to see already some of the milkiness that's coming off here. You see that milkiness? That's what you want. You can't do any damage with 2500 grit. There's very little you can do to a piece of plastic like this other than really make it better. So don't be afraid to go at it. And then when your sandpaper is getting a bit clogged up, spray it down, get rid of the old rubbish, the old trash off here, and keep going until you see it's a uniform streaks of haze, if you like. It's just uniform all over, and it takes a long time. So I'm going to carry on with this to save you guys time, and I will pull you back in when there's something to say and when there's something to point out. All right, after about 15 minutes, let's see what we've got. I've hardly touched the indicators down here and the side lights. I've really been beating on the headlight and the, well, I suppose this is the side light. The indicators I haven't bothered with, but the headlights and the side light I have. Let's just dry it off and see what we've got. Let's let that dry a second. Well, I think I'm fairly pleased with what's going on here in this area. That's becoming a uniform sort of haze. Round here we've got a bit of work to do. This is still yellow, and back round here. And obviously down here this is all scaly and horrible. As you can see, I've opened up the trunk lid so I don't have to tape here, and I can get this area well done. But you really do have to go at it with the 2500, the 2500. As you can see, this is the pile of used sandpaper that I got through last time. Anyway, on we go. All right, we are getting to the stage where we're not getting very much of that milkiness coming off. Still a bit, but nowhere near as much as there was even down here when I've done the indicators. Not getting as much as there was. So I'm starting to think that maybe we've got it where we need to be. This is another half an hour on from when I last spoke to you. So I think we've made some pretty good progress. I'm still doing it all in the same direction. Still getting a bit off, but I think we're getting there. All right, let's give this a wipe down and see what we think. It looks pretty uniformly hazed over to me. And I'm not seeing any scaliness anywhere. You can often see where there is some clear coat left on it or something that just gives it a bit of a step. But I'm not seeing that anywhere. Actually, it feels really smooth. So I'm going to declare that ready for the 3000 grit. Now, I only used half a sheet of 3000 when I did the other side. That's all I needed. So you don't need a vast amount of this. What we're doing is just making those grooves that were done by the 2500, the 2500, smaller, so that it's easier for the rotary polisher to really cut through and make it nice and shiny. So, on this side. Off we go again. And we might see a little bit of milkiness coming off because we're scratching it off still, but I don't think there'll be anywhere near as much as when we started. And after 3,000 grit, look at that, really uniform small little grooves now. I think that's perfect for the polishing stage, which we're going to do right now. And before I do, I'm just going to hit it with a bit more of the surface prep just to make sure there's nothing left on there that we don't want to polish into the surface and ruin everything. So we'll just give it a good wipe down with this. Alright then, now for the fun part, the polishing. Now this is a rotary polisher, not the DA or dual action that I've been using on the paint. Now you'll recall earlier in the video that I said that the DA is quite forgiving. This is not. A DA will rotate left and right, it'll go round, it'll go left, it'll go round, like this, a dual action as it were. This just goes round and round and round and round. And the difference is the heat builds up incredibly quickly. And you can burn through paint, you can burn through plastic with these very, very, very easily. So we're going to go very carefully. Once the polish is gone, we might put some more on, or the compound to start off with. But I'm not going to burn it on clear plastic because it will leave a hazy spot where it's burnt. So now for the fun part. All right, V32 is going on first. This is the extreme compound, and this should make a difference very quickly. I think you'll be impressed. At least I worked on the last side, so hopefully you'll be impressed with this one. 4 blobs on, and it's an orange Chemical Guys pad. Ooh. 4 blobs on, and we're going to use our conditioner, which will hopefully keep it a little bit cooler than otherwise. And I'm going to start it on the first setting. Let's spread it out a bit. Setting number 1, which is the slowest, just to spread it all over a bit. And then I'll ratchet up to about a 4. So here we go with 1. Now we're going up to 4. As you can see, that made a world of difference straight off the bat. I'm going to give it hit it again. Number 1. Four. Get out quick before it starts burning. Let's give that a wipe. Well, I'm very pleased with that. After compounding it twice, we can move on to the cutting polish now with a white pad, and hopefully that'll really give it some real clarity, even more clarity. Still not perfect, but I think some of this must be on the inside because it's a bit yellow here and a bit round here, and I went actually hammer and tongs on that, so I can't see how I could have got that any better through sanding. See what the final polish does anyway. Okay, white polishing pad this time, and V36 cutting polish. And we'll do that one again, I think. This is not bad, is it? This is pretty good for a guy that's only done it once before, and that was yesterday. I could not be happier with that. That looks great. That looks really, really good compared to where we were when we started. So it's ready for the sealant phase. We will do that when we get to the rest of the car. I've got the remainder of the car to polish still, some of it. I haven't done this bumper cover because I knew I was going to make a big mess. So do that next, the rest of the car, and then I'll be back with you. I researched quite a number of ceramic coatings and I've decided to go with Nanobond and give that a shot. It lasts for 3 years and, I'm told, gives it quite a deep shine. It comes with all the kit that you need, the applicator sponge, the cover that goes over it, the gloves that you need to apply it with, and even a buffing cloth. So let's give that a shot. And then 4 drops to get you started. A couple more drops as and when you feel it going a bit dry when you're pushing it across the surface. And then across left and right, or right to left as you're looking here, and then up and down. And then it says in this instructions on this one to buff off the excess immediately. So that's what I'm doing. Well, we're slowly but surely getting there with this car. I'm really thrilled with the progress I've made in this video, so I hope you enjoyed it too. Remember, this is the efforts of an amateur. I'm not a professional, so be kind. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.